Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and I thought today it would be fun if we dove into something new from Charlotte Tilbury, a little break from foundation and moving into a new palette. This is her Icon palette, and I was so excited when I saw this launch. Look at the packaging. Oh my word, the colors, the pigmentation, the smoothness. I was just like, oh my god, give me this palette, you guys. I was dying. Literally, the hyperventilation was real. So I do want to dive into the website, go over a little bit of the detail in this palette. So it is a $65 palette, and in the description it says that the Icon Star Power palette is 12 intensely pigmented shades that are designed for every occasion and every mood, inspired by the spotlights, rock stars, and dancers that Charlotte partied with at the Coup Club in Ibiza. These multicolored, multi-use shades glide across the eyes, lips, and cheeks like a silk satin, and the rich molten textures can be used wet or dry. Now, one of my favorite things about this palette, as you probably noticed in the swatches, is that I actually swatched them in groups of 3, which is the way that they go down in the palette. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. For me, that grouping in rows was actually one of my favorite things about this palette, because when she created it, much like she does with most of her palettes or a lot of the ones that I have seen, she will pair them in shades that look good, so it's an easy use palette, meaning you can go through, you can use it as a standard palette, mix and match, move around however you want to do it. Or if you're in like a hurry, you don't want to have to think, you maybe aren't that great with makeup, you don't like having to muss or fuss, you just want to know that colors are going to look good when you put them on. She also went ahead and grouped them into different categories. And the categories are day eyes over here, then date eyes, diva eyes, and disco eyes. Disco being the blue-green moment we're having over here. And again, you already saw them up close in swatch, but I do really like the way that she went through and categorized those. I think that it adds a really nice use element to this palette, again, for people that just don't want to mess around and don't have time for that. You know what I mean? Like, we've all been in that situation where we're like, girl, I ain't got time, I don't want to think, or I just want to like maybe talk on the phone, like so-and-so's calling me, I just want to sit, put on makeup, chill, hang out with a friend, like do my thing. I don't want to think, and I feel like this is a great palette for that. That also has something in it that it can fit your occasion. Now, something that I am obsessed with, the pan size. These are all 0.07 ounces a piece, and you guys, let's just talk. What is one of Paige's biggest things on this channel? Every time I review a palette, I'm always like, how big are those pans, girl? How big are the pans? Because I don't like getting a palette, paying anything for it, and then finding out it has like almost no product in it, or like this tiny little amount. Drives me insane. And so for me personally, whenever I look at an eyeshadow palette, I hold everything to the standard of 0.05 ounces per pan. I think that that is a fair amount, a good amount of product, and that is what the old standard Urban Decay palettes used to have. So I just feel like that really did set the bar as far as what I expect. All those old school palettes, you got a good amount of product, you knew how long the palette was gonna last. It was gonna be something you could use for a long time to come. So I was really appreciative when I saw this palette and I saw how much product was in it. I was just like, 2 thumbs way up, but it is $65. So you're paying for it, but at the same time, at least you're getting a good amount of product. Now, as far as today's video, I was trying to decide, like, how do I want to showcase this? What do I think would be the best way to play around and do this palette justice? And I know typically I just bounce around a palette and I like have all the fun and, you know, I do my thing. But I thought for today's video, it would actually be kind of fun to test out one of these looks and see if it comes together as nicely as it does in her website, because she actually does have this picture where she shows you how you can wear the day, the date, the diva, or the disco looks and have them look really beautiful. And I don't know, I love this idea and I thought it would be fun to give it a try. Now, me personally, I am so drawn to the day look. I think that it is so stunning. It's the first group of colors right here. Granted, it does have like a more red undertone, and a lot of times when I play with red undertones, girl, I look like my eyes are so bloodshot. So I am thinking I want to go daytime, because these two right here are both very warm, very neutral shades, and I play with browns a lot on this channel. So I think it might be fun to experiment, maybe play around with these a little bit, and kind of go from there, get a feel for it, you know, see what we like. All right, so I know this is a little bit random, but this top eye look right here, this is the little chart I was talking about from her website. I feel like this is the eye look I want to go with. I just love how flared out and how bright it is, and I think that would be so fun. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for, and according to this, it looks like I'm gonna have to take the red shade, the deepest red, which is this guy right here, and fan it through the outer crease quite a bit and maybe pull it in ever so slightly. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to grab our Tarte Shape Tape here in Porcelain Beige, and we are going to dollop a little bit of this on the eye and get it going. Okay, so from here we're gonna grab this red brown undertone shade. It looks so brown to me in pan. It looks like a very, very warm brown, but when you swatch it, it really does pull very nice and like vibrantly red brown. So I'm gonna take that on the outer V here, and I'm just gonna grab my Morphe Y19. And And we're going to start applying that. Okay, you get a lot of pigment on the brush and little to no kick up in pan. These are interesting. The texture of these reminds me of like those ColourPop shades, the kind of the ones in the little round dishes that you can use them with a brush, but they feel really silky and almost jelly-like. That's what these remind me of. They just feel really silky to the touch. So anyways, let's go ahead and take this and apply it to the outer V. Now I did not set my Tarte Shape Tape, so hopefully we will get a good amount of pigmentation out of this. I actually really like the way that that shade builds up, and it is a red undertone, but because it has so much like brown, almost mauve going on inside of it, it's not pulling so red on my eye. Like, I just feel like this is a really flattering shade. And I don't think I mentioned this when I was talking about the packaging. Like, not only does it look beautiful, but it also has this beautiful freaking full-size mirror, and it's a clear, crystal clear mirror. I'm living for the mirror. Okay, so moving on to the two shimmer shades, which are these right here. It looks like all we're gonna do is put the pinky shimmer shade on like the center portion of the lid, and then the brighter shade on the inner, which is pretty standard. That's how I apply my shadows anyways. I'm gonna grab my NYX glitter glue, which you do not have to do this. I always take NYX glitter glue and I pat it on the lid before I go in with any shimmer ever, just for a video. In real life, my eyelids are super oily and very inhospitable, so this just really secures my eye look for the entire day. Now, if you don't have that issue with your lids, you do not need a glitter glue. This is something I do, but if you do find that you have a hard time getting shimmers to stick to your lid, to stay there all day, to work on a concealer or wet the brush, like wetting the brush does nothing for me. And if you're in that same boat, you can try a glitter glue. The one from NYX is only a couple dollars and it is so, so good. Just gonna go back in with a little bit of the pink shimmer here, pat it over top between the transition, and just very lightly create that nice little fade from the yellow bright shimmer to this pink shimmer. You guys can see it's nice and faded. That is my goal. I like everything to look like there is no lines. Honey, there has never been a line. There's never going to be a line. We like it blended here. Yes. Now I'm just taking my finger with that leftover pink shimmer and I'm kind of transitioning it into this outer V red shade that we put down first. And you can go in, deepen it up. I'm trying to decide, do I want to deepen it up? See, I really like this like daytime smoke. I just want to see maybe what it would look like a little bit deeper. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of that red shade and just pop it ever so slightly out here. Ooh, that actually deepens up really pretty. I love how workable this red shade is. Okay, I need to look at myself next to this model and see how she be looking. How do I look? Well, I mean, we can start with the fact that she don't have no hooded eyelids. Rude. I have to say though, guys, it's real pretty and it actually looks very similar. Ooh. I love that on the lower lash line, she just mimicked the upper lash line. It looks so seamless. Like, oh my God, why does this look just so stunning to me? I don't know. Okay, Paige, get yourself together. Do the other eye. Hello. All right, so I went ahead. Obviously, I did this eye and I applied a bunch of stuff all over the rest of the face because I do want to dive into the lower lash line. And I believe I was saying this before I went off of camera. It looks like to do that, they just mimicked the upper lash line. So I'm going to take my tiny little BH. I believe this is the number 3 or number 5 from the Rose Quartz collection. I will link the collection down below. This is one of my favorite brushes of all time. And I'm just going to dive in a little bit to the dark red, purpley maroon shade that I put on the outer V right here. And I'm going to very lightly, oh my God, just like instantly perfect. Okay. I'm just gonna very lightly feather that down there. And when there's no product really left on the brush, I'm just gonna use that to blend out the edge of it and just very lightly diffuse it. Also, my eyes are watering, don't mind me. Now to apply the shimmer right next to that, I'm gonna grab this little short and stout, I believe this was an Ulta brush from my Full Face of Ulta Beauty. I will link that up here, and it came in the palette. And this I think will work perfect to apply some shimmer. So I'm just gonna take these two shimmers and apply them just in the same order I did on the upper lash line. So first I'm gonna take the pink here and very lightly veil it onto the lower lash line. Now, as much as I hate to say this, I think I will have to wet my brush for this because it's not showing up. Okay. Now sometimes this will work as long as it's on the lower lash line because your lower lash line doesn't obviously move around or be as mobile in general as your upper lid is. So it will work. I just have to really pat it on there and press. And then for the light shade, I'm just gonna take it on that same brush and I'm gonna take it to the inner corner and then drag it underneath onto the inner lower lash line. All right, so obviously I zoomed you guys out. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face real quick, and then I do wanna try this really light shade as a highlight as well because they said you can use it all over the face, the lips, and I just wanna see if that would be light enough on my skin tone as a highlight because I think it will be. It has a beautiful like shimmer to it. Let's try it. All right, so Morphe Prep and Set. which is now called the Continuous Setting Spray. I don't know why they changed the name, so sorry, I always get it wrong. So now we're gonna grab the Morphe R36 brush here, and I am gonna, again, dive into this bright shade, the same one we put on the inner corner, and I wanna try this as a highlight. So I'm just gonna try, get my little brush in here. Okay, so we're just gonna take this. Oh. Guys, she purty. I mean, God gave us two cheeks for a reason, am I right? Let's do this side. Listen up, Charlotte. It's a good thing you made these pans a little bit bigger, girl, because this shade, oh my good Lord, so beautiful. Now, as I turn from side to side, this does disappear a little bit. So all I would probably do is take and maybe tap on a little bit of a slightly whiter or brighter highlight. Do I have one right here? I'll grab just a sprinkle of my Physicians Formula Shimmer Brick, this really, really bright shade right down here. Just a sprinkle though, I don't need a ton because hello, we're already blinded. But I'm just gonna take a little bit here and tap that right in the center. There we go. And then I'm not gonna blend it out and take it all over the place. I'm actually gonna grab my Beauty Blender right here and just very lightly press it into that area because I just want it to highlight the very top of the cheekbone. There we go. Oh my God. Well, that's stunning. Okay. Glad we had this talk. Okay, you guys, I went ahead, I finished up the rest of my face, and I definitely have some thoughts on this palette. Now, I'll jump into that here in a second, but the first thing I want to start talking about is the lips. So I went in first and I lined my lips. This is the KKW Nude Lip Liner in shade 1. And over top of that, I took one of the other newest launches from Charlotte Tilbury. This is their new, I think it's their Vinyl Gloss. It is their Latex Love, I'm sorry, not Vinyl. Latex Love Long Lasting Intense Lip Gloss that gives you instant latex lips. Woo, girl, we're all about that latex. And I took this, it's in the shade Belle de Jour, and it's a really beautiful light pale pink shade, which I was really excited to play around with, test out. That's a swatch right there. It does translate very nice and opaque to the lips. Couple things though. Number one, very, very thick formula. This is not something that I would be able to layer over another lipstick, a liquid lipstick, anything like that. This would have to go on my mouth by itself, girl, because it is real thick. The other thing I'm noticing is that I am already getting a lot of this where it starts to like string up and get kind of gummy in here. Gave me instant butthole lip, like instant line on the inner lip, not cute. Overall though, I do like the shade. Now, the most bizarre thing about this that I'm not loving, and you'll know what I mean because so many of you are gonna be like, oh, I get it. I can taste the smell of this so strong. Like to smell it, barely anything. Literally almost nothing. To taste it, it tastes on my lips like I am drinking a bottle of male perfume. That is what this tastes like a male perfume and patchouli. That's exactly what this tastes like. And I gotta be honest with you, it's not an enjoyable taste, and I can't get rid of it. And that's the most bizarre thing about it is I barely smell it with my nose, but girl, the taste, it's getting me good. Overall, I don't know that I'm in love with these yet, but girl, this palette, I love this. At first, I was a little standoffish. I was like, oh my God. And it is expensive. It is luxurious. Like, we can just talk about that if you really want to. Obviously, it's Charlotte Tilbury. You're paying a lot. Okay. But guys, the quality is not lacking. These have zero fallout on the face, almost zero kick up in pan. This shade as a highlight, killing me, living my best life. Love it. Now granted, I did only use these 3 shades, but I love the dimension and the blendability that I was able to get with only those 3 shades. The fact that I could take this deep ass maroon, I could build it up on my outer V. I layered it, and it all blended out. Typically, you guys know, if you go in with like a super deep shade, especially if it's like a red purple based pigment, you do need to go in with like a lighter color and blend out the edge. And this thing blended itself out. All I had to do was like a little bit of this and it was just like done. These shades performed so beautifully and I am so excited to continue working my way through this palette, trying the different eye looks. This looks beautiful. I don't even feel like these lights are doing it complete justice. I feel like I should travel to a place where there's natural light and show you in natural light. Maybe we're gonna take a field trip because that's what we do on my channel, bitches. We take field trips. Okay guys, field trip is happening. Look at the shimmer, the glimmer, the love on my lids. Oh my God. Are they not just so like, look at that. As I like try to open my eye and like awkwardly stare at you guys, I'm obsessed. And look at the highlight. Look at that. Oh, like that's so beautiful. The lips also look a lot shinier in here, but just, oh, look at that. Are you dying? Because I am. So much shimmer, so much glimmer, so much love that I am having right now for this eye look. So easy. So overall, my thoughts on this palette. Do you need it? Like, is it a necessity? Will you die without it? You know, no, probably not. Excuse me, Hazel.
Hi, Sissy. What you doing? Oh, what a princess. Can Sissy do her thing, huh? Can Sissy hurry up? That's a cute butt you got there, Hazel.
Okay, anyways, here I am calming down. We're bringing it back down to earth. Do I love this palette? Yes. Do I think it is worth the money? I think it is expensive. I think you're buying quality for sure. Who do I think this palette would be best targeted for? Someone that wants a no fuss, no muss, easy to use palette. You're going to get beautiful pops of shimmer. I think it'll work on multiple skin tones. I'm a little bit uneasy because they didn't show like a deep skin tone wearing this palette, but as far as the light to medium range that they did show, I think it's really beautiful. And I think that there's a lot of beautiful transient shimmers that are going on in here. And my only issue that I really had with this palette when I first opened it up was the fact that there's really only like 3 quote unquote matte shades in this palette. The one that I put on, the 3rd shade, and then in this one right here, the 3rd set down has a matte brown, and then there's the matte black. And even those shades are not entirely matte. They're more of like a satin. So when you apply those, they do of course have a satin finish to the eye, so they're not completely matte. And at first I'm like, girl, how can you give me all of these shades and expect me not to have a matte? Like, what am I gonna do? I think you can do a lot with those. You can build them up, sheer them out. And I do think that you'd be able to do most eye looks with those 2 shades based on the shimmers that are in this palette. Like, as far as overall the design of it, I think I went into it expecting something totally different. And I thought that I was gonna see like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't include this. And like, they included it all, and it's all beautiful, and I love it all. So overall, I'm super happy. I think it is stunning. Anyways, you guys, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down below. What do you think of the palette overall, the look, what is happening? And I just want to hear from you guys in general. Any new launches you are curious about, leave them down there. And you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Those are both linked in the description. I'm trying to get verified. Y'all know the drill. I post everything over there. I post in my stories. We do skincare Saturday and Sunday, you know, depending on like which day I'm just like lazing about. I just check in with you guys all the time over there on social. And you can also subscribe and turn on your post notifications here on YouTube if you have not yet, because I upload 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 my time here in Northern Michigan. And we talk about everything makeup, new, old, love it, hate it, whatever the case may be, we talk about it. So let me know your thoughts, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys later. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Is everything on? Is everybody good? What is happening in the hood? Okay, I made that up in case you can't tell. Oh my God, my leg, I'm gonna get a cramp. So I wanna go ahead and read to you a little bit about what it says on the internet. Hello? Hello, everybody. Joking. My God, I feel like a seal wearing size 2 pants from the junior section.